Well, that video was popular. I hadn't had one before that exceeded 100 views, and that one is now over 1,000 and climbing. So thanks to everyone who watched, and thanks to the draft lottery for giving me something to scream about. This video is going to be less screamy, so if that's more what you're in for, just give it a second. This team will always give me reasons to yell about them. But what I want to talk about today is a comment that I imagine a lot of you have seen. It was from Charlie Jacobs. Now, if you don't know who Charlie Jacobs is, he's the CEO and alternate governor of the Boston Bruins. You know, Neely and Sweeney are more of the front-facing brass of the organization, but there are a lot of cooks in this kitchen. Well, this cook, Charlie Jacobs, had something to say, and it's a quote that's been taken a bit out of context, so I'm going to go ahead and read the whole opening statement, start to finish, so you can really give him all the credit you can. Last year, when we were in this press conference, it was an awfully difficult one, and I sit here today feeling like we were on the right track. We had a 100-point season. We had the second best record in the entire National Hockey League throughout the regular season. No, we didn't. I think he means at home. I'll get on the postseason in a minute. Different record at home then. And I feel like the words that were spoken last year at this time, the doubling down, so to speak, on behalf of Cam and Don and their leadership has started to pay off. Oh, do ya? And I feel like we've made a lot of progress this past year, and I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank all of you, the media. And above all, I'd like to thank the fans for their support throughout this whole process. Oh my gosh, it's not like I wanted to support you or anything. Oh, what am I doing? You could feel the electricity inside TD Garden during our games, and that is something that I hope we can continue to build upon. We were fortunate enough to make the playoffs with a 100-point season, and I feel like we're on the right track towards becoming a real Stanley Cup contender in the future years. What future years? Before there's an expansion team on Mars, I hope they might be in the Atlantic. Now, there's a lot of ways to take down what we just heard, but I think a fun one would be to look at the lines and pairings from Game 6, an elimination game in the playoffs, and see how close to a real Stanley Cup contender this team seems to be. So the way I'll do that is for forwards, I'll rate them as either being top 6, middle 6, or bottom 6. Obviously, there is overlap. I'm really looking more for upper end, like, could they realistically play on the first line, so top 6, second line, middle 6, or third line, bottom 6. And then for pairings, it'll be first pairing, second pairing, third pairing, or seventh defenseman. So let's see what we're dealing with and see roster-wise how close we are to a real Stanley Cup contending team. So to begin, David Pastrnak, first-line right winger in Game 6, and definitely a top 6 forward. 1 for 1, let's try to keep it going. Pavel Zacha, damn it. Definitely had a good season towards the end, was really big for us at the end of the regular season. Wasn't as good for us in the playoffs. Is he a first-line center? No. So I'm calling him middle 6. I definitely could be second. Definitely shouldn't be first. Not on a Stanley Cup contending team. Marek Kuznetsov. Do we even say middle 6? I know he had a big year, overproduced, whatever, and high energy. There's a lot to like about his game. Definitely has the potential to be a second line forward, I think. But right now, and I know he said in future years, but you can't just throw your hands up and say in the future. Yeah, in the future we probably will win a Stanley Cup. Hopefully. Oh my God, I hope. So for Kuznetsov right now, I think you have to say bottom 6 because for the next couple of years, I think realistically that's where he's going to be on the team. I'm not sure that you can put him maybe on the second line. Maybe I'm being mean. Not a first line like he was here. Second line right wing, Morgan Geekie. Also not a first-line player. I know he had 39 goals and that he was tied for the league lead in October or something, but he fell off. He disappeared for 20 games during the regular season. Obviously not during the postseason. If only we had played 20. You can't have that. That's not first line. Middle 6. Solid middle 6. Yeah, second line, I think. Elias Lindholm. I guess I have to say middle 6. I guess he can be on a second line. But man, for that money, you really want just something completely different than what we have. Nothing to that. When I go through a real post-mortem and do the off-season review and looking forward, looking at that guy, I don't know what you do. Casey Middlestat, hopefully not a Boston Bruin. I said it. I liked him when we got him. I liked the idea. I was wrong. Oh well. What disappeared nowhere during the series. Had no drive against his former team. God, is middle six too high for him? I don't know. I don't know if really on a second line is he a second line forward on a real Stanley Cup contender? I don't really see that, to be honest. I'm gonna say middle six because he's closer probably to a second line forward than a fourth line forward. But man, is it really just a third line forward? Mikey Eyssimont, he was in because of injury, I would say. I don't know. I mean, I think Steves was in for Hagens and Eyssimont was in for Arvidsson, although it's kind of hard because where they ended up playing doesn't necessarily reflect that. Whatever. Eysimont's bottom six. That one's easy. That's his job. He's a scratch, rotational forward. Fine. Fraser Minten. Kind of feel the same way I do about him that I do about Khusnutdinov. Now, Minten did come up during this press conference as someone who could be a 1C in the future. Along with Hagens, to whom we'll get. I mean, he could be. You guys know how happy I am with his season. Right now, and I think next year, and I think maybe the year after that, you're still looking bottom six. I saw on my one popular video ever, or it might have been the reel that I derived. Oh no, the reel of me singing America the Beautiful. It's great, by the way. If you haven't heard it, I have a wonderful voice. Somebody was saying, a Toronto troll kinda, was saying that he'd rather have Carlo than Minten, a bottom six forward, playing in the top six. First of all, not playing in the top six, at least in this game. Second of all, you would rather have Carlo? Come on, man. No, you wouldn't. No one would. They were selling him at the deadline. No one would take him. You couldn't get anything. So, yeah, all right. Whatever it is, we're still going to get another pick out of that. Might not be a good pick, but it'll be a pick. And Fraser Minten. So, high on him, definitely potential. Not sure if it's, imminent first-line center potential. Alexander Steves, yeah, another guy, rotational, bottom six. Yeah, that's what he does. And I actually did that role really well in Game 5 and Game 6. Fine in Game 6. Did it really well in Game 5. I think part of the reason why we won is because we got a little bit more of that 200-foot grinding style of play. Being a bottom six forward isn't a bad thing. You do need bottom six forwards. And I think he could be a fourth-line forward on a Stanley Cup contending team. They would need to have a really good top end for more players like that to slot in, but not unthinkable that a guy like that could be part of the Stanley Cup team. Mark Kastelik, Sean Kuraly, Tanner Jeannot. I can do this all at one fell swoop. Bottom six. They're an excellent fourth line for us. They're grindy. They were one of the most productive lines in the series, which, and we lost in 6. So we kind of seeing the problem, kind of seeing why this isn't necessarily, on the cusp here of a deeper run. So yeah, again, bottom six. So to just summarize with these guys, you know what? I'll do Arvidsson and I'll do Hagens real quick. Arvidsson, middle six. He's not a top line forward. He's definitely, I would think, second line territory, at least the way he played this season. Slower start, kind of came into his own more during the season. I can live with that. I almost prefer that than the opposite, starting hot, more like of a geeky sort of starting hot and then falling off, because you want to ramp up. You want to hit your stride into the postseason. So Arvidsson, I'd say, is mid-6. And then Hagens, bottom 6. He's only played 5 games in the NHL. Who knows? But I don't see a scenario where coming out of camp and out of the preseason next year that you have that guy on the top 2 lines unless we're in a bad spot. Like, I don't think that would be good. I don't think that would be Stanley Cup contending type stuff. So that could be an issue, right? When 5 of your top 6 positions are occupied by second or third liners. You have Zacha, who I think is solidly in there. Geeky, solidly in there. Lindholm has to be in there. And Arvidsson. Those are all second liners. One of them will have to play on the first line of this paradigm. Middlestat also plays hockey. He's somewhere. Then Steves, Minten, Eyssimont, Khusnutdinov, Jeannot, Kuraly, Kastelik, that can fill out your bottom 2 lines. Like, yeah, you will score. You will get about 100 points. It's a good 100-point-a-season team. On the cusp, not on the cusp. He didn't say that. I'm saying that. Building towards a Stanley Cup? I mean, slowly. Kind of like how lichens grow on stones after a wildfire, but those things are measured more in generations than in, 2 terms of the alternate governor. Onto the defense. This one's easy. McAvoy. Again, we can start somewhere nice and happy and be 1-for-1. And if we stop the count, and we can go home and be fine where this team is. So McAvoy, yeah, absolutely. First pair right defenseman, no question. Aspihall, damn it. This keeps happening. Aspihall, I want in my heart to say second pair. I think it's third pair. He's been really good for us this season. Definitely one of our top 3 defensemen. But you see, that's a problem, right? That's a problem. Because to win a Stanley Cup, you need Jonathan Aspihall not to be one of your top 3 defensemen. You might need him not to be one of your top 6. You can probably get away with him on the third pair, though. And I think his performance this season at least deserves third pair consideration. So that's where he should be. Yoki Haru, that's a 7th defenseman. Maybe third pair, maybe. He's probably my favorite of the 7th defenseman. But you can't be scratched for about half the games in a season and not slot into that 7th defenseman role. That's at least how we use them. So, yeah. Hampus Lindholm. Is he even third pair? Honestly. Is he even third pair? Or is that a 7th defenseman? I think it's a 7th defenseman. I think he really is. I do not think that he's good enough to be on a third pair of a Stanley Cup contending team. Maybe if the top 2 pairs are so good, like Buffalo, if you have really good top 4 defensemen, maybe you can stick him on there. Not if he's with Aspihall. I do not think between the 2 of them, first of all, both left-handed, which, you can do that now. But, oh man, I do not think, really, the 2 Lindholms, and honestly, both players, I was less high on Elias when we got him, but Hampus I was pretty high on, and he had some good seasons in Boston. But both Lindholms right now, those are, I think, the biggest glaring issues. Massive contracts with clauses, I'm pretty sure, that where you're getting third line level play or third pair if I'm being like really generous level play. So, Andrew Peak, 7th defenseman, and I'm being nice. I mean, we don't say 8th defenseman. If we did, I would. I don't think there's any chance he plays for the Bruins next year. I can't even stomach that thought. Nikita Zadorov, second pair defenseman. I noticed right towards the end of the postseason there was a lot of anti-Zadorov swing. Not a lot, some anti-Zadorov swing, which I don't get. I was going to say I get it. That would have been lying. I don't know why I would have said that. I'm a pleaser. It's what I do. But no, I don't get that. Took some stupid penalties. They were not the difference. I just think we need that physical element to our game. We do. We need that on our blue line. It's really part of the identity of Bruins teams that are good. Go watch the 2011 team. None of those defensemen could skate. They were really just big and lumbering and menacing and physical when they cleared out the crease and battered Vancouver throughout the championship series. So, yeah, I like Zadorov. To me, he is a Boston Bruin. I think he's a certainly good enough to be a second pair defenseman, not good enough to be first. And then our 2 scratches for this game, Lohrei and Jordan Harris. And that tells you where they should be. 7th defenseman. Lohrei is better than Harris. Harris, I think, will be on the Bruins next year simply because we have to have a little defensive depth. But I don't know, it doesn't do a lot for me. Just wasn't very good in the chance he got in this series. I don't know why he was given the nod over Yoki Haru, who is just better at hockey. It seems to me. But, I mean, all in all, when he stepped in, he was okay. 7th defenseman, okay. So to recap here, we have McAvoy, that's a real top pair. Zadorov, that's a second pair. Aspihall, that's a third pair. And everyone else is a 7th defenseman. Hold on, I'm doing the math. You're going to lose. And a big part of why we did lose to the Sabres, in addition to the fact that they were better at skating, better at shooting, better at checking, better at forechecking, better at back checking, better at passing. They had better coaching. They played better away. They played better at home. Their environment in the arena was better. Josh Allen, they had better Josh Allen. Honestly, did they? Somehow, I'm not sure that one's a runaway. But besides all that, besides the massive imbalance of talent and ability, one of the reasons they were able to win is because they could forecheck with essential impunity because our defensemen were not good enough to make any sort of breakout passes, and instead would just panic and turn the puck over because they're not as good as, say, other NHL defensemen or the NHL forwards who were forechecking them. So I do not think that this is an easily remediable problem. I think this is going to require several seasons of restructuring. So again, I must ask, in future seasons, which future seasons? Because this defense is among the worst in the league. Honestly, when I look at them and I consider how they played, I cannot believe we got 100 points. I cannot believe we made the playoffs. It's really, it baffles the mind. Very disrespectfully, I forgot Lucas Reichel. That is because when I looked at the list, he had already been sent down to Providence to help with their playoff campaign, which did not work. Thank you, Lucas. Not his fault, though. I mean, we spent a sixth on him. He came, he added some speed. He can point A to point B quickly. That matters in hockey sometimes. It helps on forechecking and it helps with loose pucks in dangerous areas. That's how we got his first goal for the Bruins. So, yeah, he's a bottom six forward, obviously. I like what he brings. One of the quotes coming out of this press conference, one of the quotes that made its way around a little bit more, was that the Bruins needed more speed and talent. More speed, yeah, I agree, especially on the blue line. We got a lot of slow-footed individuals over there. But when you say that the Bruins need more talent, and when you compare it to speed and talent like that, it almost sounds like it's a tweak, like a fine-tuning thing. Like, need a little bit more on the puck skill, need a little bit more ability to create space. We need a bucket of talent. I'm not convinced a bucket would be enough. I got a laundry hamper over here. We need a laundry hamper of talent. Do they sell it in that unit? Is it like one of those things where you can go to Costco and just get a ridiculous amount? You can get a humidifier of laundry pods. What does that even mean? I don't know, but it's $30, so I might as well. I'm always going to need to do laundry, right? You're always going to need talent. Right now, especially on the blue line, but really all around the team, you need talent. One safe haven is goaltending. Swayman is a starting goalie, obviously Vezina finalist. Korpisalo, I think, was a serviceable backup. I know people don't like him as much. Makes a little bit too much money for what he does. And I imagine DiPietro's about ready at this point to come up. But, yeah, Korpisalo, we did not lose anything because of Joonas Korpisalo. Did we lose a game this season because of him? One, what difference does it make? Two, I'm not convinced we did. With a blue line like that, with defensemen like that, the fact that we were able to have a Vezina final, do you know how good Jeremy Swayman is? That another comment I saw, I'm just gonna, this is where I vent. Another comment I saw was that Lyon was better than Swayman. What? Oh, but his numbers were better. Oh, please, come on. Tuukka Rask and I don't agree on many things, but one thing we do agree on is that goals saved above expected is a meaningful statistic. Expected goals against this defense should be double digits every game. It's terrible. It's a horrible defense for a playoff team and an unspeakable and unimaginable defense for a cup contender. I know he didn't say that we're a cup contender right now, and I know he said in future years, and so I will ask again, and I won't even be snarky about it. What future years? Which ones? Because I don't know about y'all, I do not see a reality where this Boston Bruins team, as it is currently constructed, is contending for a Stanley Cup before 2030. And once we're into the next decade, I feel like you can kind of keep that rhetoric on the back burner. This defense is a multi-year project. We have all the forward prospects in the world. I can see that getting corrected if Higgins pans out well, if Letourneau pans out well, if whomever we end up drafting with whatever picks we end up getting from Florida and from Toronto and from ourselves. If things work out there, maybe we can get defensemen there. This year would have been a great year to get a defenseman at 6. I understand you have to stay optimistic, especially, when there are non-hockey considerations. We need season ticket sales to stay up. We need merch sales to stay up. I got this off of eBay, not getting any of my money. I got this off of Fanat. Oh, God. Why would I do that? It's kind of cool, though. I like it. I understand you need to stay optimistic, and you need to present a confident front. And you can't just come out there and say, damn, we suck. But when you start saying things, first of all, when you throw the platitudes at the fans and you thank us for whatever, and then you start saying things like, we're on the right track to be real Stanley Cup contenders. If the fans matter as much as you say they do, like he said last year when he said that he bleeds black and gold as much as we do, okay, if that's true and you start saying those things, you have to deliver. You have to deliver. You could be like the Rangers and write a letter every few years and just say, we're in the trenches now, boys, but we're here together. We are here together. We're stuck here. You're not losing us. We're not going anywhere. But you have to deliver. You have a responsibility to these fans who love this team, who love this game, to give us a product that's not Andrew Peak in an elimination game. So, what years? What future years? Let me know what you think in the comments. By the way, I'm going to do my little spiel now if you're not interested. Thanks. By the way, I am currently 3 subscribers away from 50 on YouTube. First of all, never thought I'd get there. Thanks. Second of all, if I get to 50, I can do live streams. And if I get to 50 before the Cup finals, or maybe even the conference finals, I can live stream some of those games and do my live commentary over them. I've been led to believe by the Instagram population that might be something you're interested in. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, if you don't have Instagram, you can't. But if you do and you don't, it'll be in the bio, or the video description. Please follow. If that's something you're interested in and you're not subscribed, please do. I like doing live commentary. I'm pretty good at it. I will occasionally... I couldn't think of anything to say, so I did that instead. It's kind of, a case in point thing. But anyway, if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe. Please like this video, comment, whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Probably it'll be talking about the off season and what we can actually do, what concrete steps we can take to get less Andrew Peak on my third pairing in an elimination game. And we'll go from there. Go Bees.